Yeah. Good evening, Ali.
Hey, good evening, brother man. How's it?
I'm good. I'm fine. I don't know how about you people in South Africa. Here in Kenya, we are okay. We are just dealing with the general elections here. The political temperature is just up there. I don't know about South Africa.
Nothing much in South Africa this weekend. We are dealing with one of the big political parties. It's called Policy Review, where they are reviewing their policies. It's one of the big conference ever, which I see that is the one that is hosting. Having a lot of people's view in South Africa, and also the issue of corruption that is happening in South Africa, and much more, brother man. I see that there are a lot of things which are happening this side. But what is actually trending on the top five things that is happening in South Africa? It's basically the ruling party policy review, because there's what is called step aside. We're saying that if one person is doing something that is out of the line, they just say step aside. So most of the branches, they're saying that this thing of step aside, it must step out because it's disturbing them. So it's bringing a lot of things this side.
You people, I think South Africans are the most dramatic or comedic people in Africa. Especially your politics is full of drama. But here also in Kenya, there's some sort of drama because you are seeing a lot of tension between the sitting president and the deputy president. They are throwing in words, out there that might even bring in chaos in this country. We hope it does not get to that point because, some of them are claiming that this one wants to kill us. They are saying that, oh, please do not kill us, and we hope that all is going to be well because you have the general elections coming in next week, and the temperatures, I'm telling you, are high. People who are living in urban areas are planning to go to the rural areas. They want to run away, but I think people should just have hope and be peaceful. That's what we want, not only in Kenya but the entire Africa.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. For sure. Definitely, we're looking at that. We're looking at a peaceful Africa, especially considering what is happening, what has been lately happening in South Africa. I hear that you find that there are some of the movements, not to say non-profit organizations, but movement, where you hear people saying that our African brothers, the likes of African brothers and African sisters, come from Zambia, Zimbabwe, to say that they must go back to the original countries where they're coming from. And to me, it paints a lot knowing that these people, they're coming from countries where they are starving and all of this, and it's becoming a problem.
Yeah, but all in all, we hope for the best. Now let us get into the our business of today. We want to introduce to our audience and the people who view us from across the world and across Africa, from mostly in Kenya and South Africa. We want to introduce to them this new show that we have called African Kona. And what can you tell our audience early about African Kona? How do you envision? What is our plan about African Kona?
Yeah, man, looking into this partnership between Go Youth Podcast and also with my brother here, Wachiri Rides, we ended up, my man, coming with this amazing thing that is called African Corner, which I believe this team, my brother, is going to assist us in terms of cooperating together, trying to, spice things up. What is happening in Kenya, what is happening in South Africa, and Africa as a whole. And I believe this platform, it will be one of the powerful platform ever where we'll be able, to get the views of an African child of what is happening in Africa, and also to make sure that, our African youth, they know what is happening about Africa. They understand about things that are happening in Africa, and we take them in detail, like we appetize them. People don't have appetite. So in African corner, we appetize them for them to have the appetite to understand the African matters, buddy.
Yeah, that's true. Here in Kenya, there's most of the places, especially, there's people who lack jobs here in Kenya, and most of the young people, you'll find them sitting in certain streets and alleys and in corners. But for those people by there who don't understand Swahili, we call it African Corner. Kona is Swahili for corner. The Corner for English. Just the normal corner. So here many people call it base, people call it that base where people go and speak, but this is African Corner, where we want to bring everybody who is in Africa to that corner where we can have a conversation, because I've been privileged enough to be in the discussions and the discourse we have been having in Go Youth podcast, and we have seen that many things that we talk about are good, but we find most of the time we leave other things out and we don't talk about it much. And you see, most of the things that we have been talking about in Go Youth podcast has been political. So for African Corner, we want to introduce the social aspect of Africa. We want to talk about social issues affecting Africa. As you people can see on your screen there, we have social issues that affect Africa, like languages. We want to discuss about what are the languages that are there in Africa. Let us talk about the beauty of our languages, the power of our languages, the different variations of languages in Africa. We want to talk about culture, the diversity. Africa is one of the continents in the world. Actually, I think it is the most diverse continent in the world. Thinking of people who are living in the northern part of Africa, the Saharan part of Africa, come to Central Africa, go to all the way to Southern Africa. We have a lot of diverse cultures, and that is one of the blessings I think the Creator gave
even when
to
it
the
comes
people
to
of
the
Africa.
languages. Even when it comes to the languages, Africa in detail, my man, I'm telling you, if you can check the pictures, if you can make a collection of the pictures of Africa, people speak Swahili, people speak Sipedi, Setswana, Setsonga, people speak, I'm telling you, in South Africa, it's West. The languages that you're speaking, it's West.
And that is the beauty. That is the beauty of Africa. That is the beauty, because we want to celebrate the diversity in the beauty in our diversity. For example, I one of the languages that really amazes me is from South Africa. The way you people speak with the click sound, and we from my history, I understand that is among
those people who speak in Xhosa.
Yeah, I don't know how you people do that. I have tried doing that, and I can almost choke myself while I'm trying to speak that language. I don't know how you people do that. But that is among the reasons, the things we'll be talking about here in African Corner. We want to bring in that social corner where people can speak about issues that are affecting Africa, social issues, not only affecting Africa, but also in Africa. We want to celebrate and also just celebrate our own Africa. Ali, if you can remember the other day, you asked us a question in Go Youth podcast, and you asked, why are the foreign media speaking about Africa in a different lens that is not on the ground? Here in Kenya, we say mambo kwa ground ni different. So we want to change the scenario. We want to tell our own stories. We want to tell our own issues and images of Africa by our own selves. We as Africans want to discuss about the social issues.
For sure. So definitely, because it pains a lot. Definitely.
Yeah, it really does. People are coming from various parts of the world, and they're talking about Africa in a different way. It is true that Africa has its own share of problems, but let us also talk about the good things about Africa. They cannot say they don't talk about these issues there. They do know that Africa is beautiful. They do know that Africa has good things to offer, not only poverty, corruption, and all those problems and menaces that they bring forth. But among also the various issues we'll be talking about is African philosophy. African philosophy is one of the areas that I really like
to add very quickly on what you were saying, when you're speaking about some of the journalists, it pains a lot when you see some of the African media houses which are not actually paying well the journalists for the job that they're doing, and you'll be surprised. A media house that is based in China, a media house that is based in USA, it actually takes our African journalists. They pay them a lot of money for them to tell the stories, but we don't see those things on our stories. But when you check those international news channel, you see this. It gets pains a lot, and some they talk nonsensical stuff about Africa. They don't talk good things about Africa, which pains a lot, because we know that Africa is rich in terms of resources and minerals and a lot of things.
Yeah, it's good, Ali, that those foreign media houses has not paid any of us to talk bad about Africa. We can assure our audience that you have not been paid to talk bad about Africa. Neither have we been paid to talk good about Africa. We don't need to be paid to talk good about our own continent,
Yeah.
So it's really sad, when you see that, when you open these international media channels, you see that they are talking about, the negative issues. But we here want to talk about good issues that are there in Africa. But we're not going to forget about the bad issues. Come on, we're going to talk about them. And among the various issues that the agenda that we want to bring forth in African Corner is African philosophy. And I was saying earlier, African philosophy is one of the areas that I like to specialize as an individual, is the areas that I really love to talk about, especially the African philosophy of different cultures and different tribes that are there in Africa. I happen to be to be fortunate enough. I studied philosophy, and one of the areas that we studied philosophy was African philosophy, and I did not feel that we really exhausted, and I don't think also we can exhaust the issue of African philosophy. But I also think it needs more time. People need to accord it more energy to talk about. And in African philosophy, we're going to talk about different things, the metaphysics that are out there in Africa. We want to talk about how people believe in their gods here in Africa. How do people envision knowledge in Africa? How do people think? What is the science behind the different cultures in Africa? We want to talk all about that.
Definitely,
Maybe,
definitely.
yeah. Uh,
Because some are saying different things. There's an African brother who's coming from Zimbabwe. This guy,
yeah.
for me, I believe this guy is gifted because this guy can do miracles. Some are even calling it witchcrafts. So those are things that we need to get into detail. When somebody is able during the day could put a stick and walk on. Those are what we are gifted as African people. But we
Yeah.
go there, some are keep on saying that, hey, those people are witch. Hey, but if it's someone who's of a different skin, do that.
You see,
People who don't even
people,
they don't want to pay.
they will call it witchcraft because they do not understand it. And I hope in the future, moving forward with African Corner, I'll try and explain to people the different views, especially in African philosophy, because many of the Eurocentric scholars have really painted that there's no philosophy that is there in Africa, that Africans do not have a philosophy. But I really like to say this. You see, when somebody does not understand something, especially those people from the foreign parts of Africa, they do not understand it things and they call it witchcraft. If
Mhm.
people can do, they call it magic, they call all those things, and some of them, they do not understand it. It is because that is in depth in African philosophy. People, especially, let me just say, when the white people do not understand what is happening in Africa, they all either call it witchcraft, they call it barbaric, they call it backward, and I don't think that is really the case here.
Definitely, definitely. And one thing that I like about African Corner is that we'll also be looking into different types of belief. We know that in Africa we have different types of the belief. So there will be a time where we'll digest them, break them down into detail, and also looking in art. Africa is rich in terms of art. If you go to other countries, you find that they bought things from Africa. They are busy using them in museums. Our side here, most people are also not even taking into account their beliefs or their cultures. Most people they imagine when you see people wearing. I saw it happening here in South Africa. You see people wearing Indian clothes. When you ask them why are you wearing these clothes, they say no, they are nice. They don't want to put their own belief clothes. Now we need to talk about the importance of one is to take care of their art and respecting the art. And we'll be talking about different types of relationships.
Yeah, earlier, I think we should also mention to them that we want to also talk about the life stories about living legends that are there in Africa, and also the people who have gone ahead of us, the people who have died, the living legends of Africa, the life stories that have never been shared, and also some of which them have already had, but they have not gotten the chance to talk about it in depth. We want to celebrate those people. We want to talk about them. We want to learn from them. We want to learn the life stories of people like Nelson Mandela. I want to learn the stories about people like Dedan Kimathi, a freedom fighter here in Kenya, the life of the Mau Mau, the people who are fought for independence in Ghana. We want to talk about all that. We want to celebrate our people in our own way.
Definitely. Definitely. And also learn to what actually happened. And this will be one of the best and interesting show ever, as this will be actually cooperating and also be working together. We are in the same continent, so to say, in Africa. Myself, I'm based in South Africa, and my brother there is based in Kenya. So we'll be trying to make this thing to be so interesting. There will be a time where we'll be broadcasting from the street. engaging with the audience from the street. That guy will be checking with people from Kenya, what is happening there. I will be
Yeah,
engaging people in South Africa. This is gonna be get interesting. Imagine when we
yeah,
go live and the audience themselves they'll be able to interact. So this is gonna be
yeah.
a big platform. African Corner is gonna get in touch with a lot of people.
Ali, before we forget to mention this, I think this is one of the issues that we also want to highlight that our audience get to understand. We will be talking also about the issues of mental health. In Africa today, we are seeing a lot of issues that are affecting the health of people, especially mentally. And people are doing, especially the young people, are doing, we are seeing a lot of suicides. We are seeing people getting into depression and a lot of issues that deal with mental health. And that is one area we do not want to leave out as African Corner. We are going to talk about mental health. We're going to talk about wellness in general, and a lot of issues that surround anything and anything that is social, not only in Africa, by the way. We are also going to talk about things that also outside of Africa, and especially our brothers and sisters who went to different continents out there in the world. We want to also incorporate them because African Corner is a talk show that focuses on social issues in traditional and contemporary Africa. We want to address these themes across the diverse ages, the cultures and group of people. And we are going to be doing this through informative talks and discussions with people of like-minded and also people who do not think like us. It's also good to hear the discussion of people who don't agree with us, and let's say we agree to disagree, and let peace be. They say let peace be. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Now that would be quite good. And also, we'll be trying to, as time goes, we're trying to get people in the platform. For instance, people who are in the same industry. We get people from someone from Kenya, someone from South Africa, and people from different countries in Africa, so that we can digest emotion together and share ideas. But what I believe in is that African Corner is gonna be one of the different show ever that will be in Africa. We'll be going live. We are actually still working on it. This is just an introduction. The hot one is still to come.
yeah. I think we have already introduced African Corner to the best of our knowledge at this particular time, because we have a lot in store of them. I think what we can just tell them is to keep it locked here so that they can be able to understand and see what we are talking about, because we cannot explain to them the vision and the mission that we have as African Corner. So that we just need to tell our audience, keep it locked. Don't
Yeah,
get tired, and just listen to African Corner every time that you are free, and just listen to us.
definitely. I think all the viewers and all the listeners listening from different platform and watching from different platform, they need to make time and make sure that they join the show, the African Corner, which is one of
Yeah,
the best show ever that we're going to be having here in Africa. It's African Corner. It's a talk show that will actually be focusing on social issues and in tradition and also contemporary Africa. We'll be looking on a number of numerous issues and themes that we are going to address, especially looking on the issue of diverse age and culture and group. One of the best show ever, brother man. And yeah, I think that we are actually wrapping up the show, and it's quite
yeah,
interesting to have him brother line.
yeah. It has been a good discussion here. I hope people have really understood what we want to do, and we have introduced to them African Corner. So let them keep there. When they pass by, in the streets of the internet, they always just remember there's a place we call African Corner where you can chill, where you can talk. Where you can listen to people, talking about issues that are affecting Africa and that are dear to Africa. This is the corner,
Yeah, yeah.
within the social streets of the internet. Just come here and listen, and also leave your feedback. Let us hear from you. Let us also discuss. Let us have a discourse between you and us who are watching us.
Definitely, this is the African corner. This is the corner where the African brothers and the African sisters they can come and share their views. One night show, one night show. You guys will keep on joining the show. Yep, African corner.